Do you remember duel decks? They were these 2 packs of casual decks that were meant to be played against each other. This was before Commander was really the only casual format products were created for, but I was thinking about them the other day. Goblins vs. Elves, Speed vs. Cunning, Venser vs. Koth. There were some real bangers in these boxes. So I got to thinking, what if we did Commander duel decks? Not meant to be played one-on-one, but rather as part of a pod, a nice entry point for multiple players to get into the format, or to give one person multiple options for decks right out of the gate. So I put together Steel vs. Ritual, a 2-pack of budget Commander Precons catering to different archetypes and mechanics. These 2 monocolored decks, one white, one black, are built as half of a battle box, one unified power level with strengths and weaknesses compared against each other. Let's take a look at our first deck, Clerical Error, led by Taborax, Hope's Demise. This $40 budget mono black deck is led by our Demon Cleric. Taborax is a 3-mana 2/2 flyer and has lifelink as long as it has 5 or more counters on it. And whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Taborax. Bonus, if that creature was a cleric, you lose a life and draw a card. Unsurprisingly, this is a cleric typal brew, focusing on smaller creatures being clerics while your bigger creatures are demons. Now there is a lot that this brew can do, leaning into black strengths as a color, like life gain to offset paying life for resources, card draw as long as you have life to pay, and the ability to reuse resources from the graveyard. The other strength this brew brings to the table is the ability to tutor. Even at a lower budget power level, there are a handful of cards that let you pick and choose what cards you have available. Shadowrite Priest can potentially allow you to tutor every turn, grabbing a black creature and putting it directly into play for 5 mana and the sacrifice of a cleric. A great way to get some of your bigger threats out for cheap. Mausoleum Secrets is a great instant speed tutor in mono black decks as long as you're filling your graveyard as well. Not hard in a deck all about sacrificing your own clerics to infernal rituals. And we have Pyre of Heroes, which lets us run our creatures up the chain, putting higher and higher mana value creatures into play, provided they share creature types. This means that not only is our graveyard a resource, but our library is too, making for a versatile, resource-rich deck. From a gameplay standpoint, we want to be using some of our smaller clerics, like Soldevi Adnate, Disciple of Grizzlebrand, and Cable Archon to pump up Taborax, draw us cards, and gain us resources to cast our bigger, game-ending demons. While these clerics can certainly cause some real damage, like Skemfar Shadowsage, Vile Deacon, or Pontiff of Blight, our biggest, scariest threats come from demons at the top end of our curve. This is Bloodgift Demon, acting as a flying threat and drawing us cards along the way. Demon of Dark Schemes, wiping the board and acting as repeatable reanimation while being a threat in the air. And Aberrant Overlord, one of my favorite mono black curve toppers. It brings the entire party along with it, creating a 1/1 flyer for each black pip you have in play, and even does us the courtesy of allowing us to sacrifice it in our upkeep to itself to do this over and over and over. This is because we have reanimation in our deck, like Unearth, Command the Dreadhorde, and our pivot commander, Whisper Blood Liturgist. If we want to stray away from the cleric typal theme and more towards regular reanimation of big, nasty threats, then Whisper makes a fantastic option. We can replace some of the smaller clerics in the list with bigger, badder demons or high-value reanimation targets, along with some more token generators that allow us to reanimate over and over again, for a near seamless path to a completely different deck. And before we take a look at a completely different deck, remember to hit all those good buttons. Like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to join the Brew Crew and never miss a deck tech. The other side of this twofer is Menacing Mechanics, a mono-white deck led by Sram Senior Edificer. Sram is a simple 2-mana 2/2 Dwarf Artificer. He draws us a card whenever we cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell. Important to note that this isn't limited to once per turn like so many recent white card draw effects. That means we want to focus on reducing the cost of our spells to allow us to power out 2 or 3 casts every turn. And while Sram can take us in a few different directions thanks to his ability, this deck focuses on vehicles to combat the Demon Menace, and that's for 2 reasons. 1. Vehicles are cheap, efficient creatures that often come inbuilt with evasion and can stand up to flying demons very, very well. And vehicles dodge sorcery speed removal. This means we can wipe the board on our turn and not lose our board state, as this means we dodge our opponent's sorcery speed removal as well. Nice and efficient. Speaking of efficient, that's really where we want to be. We want to discount our artifacts as much as possible, so the deck has effects like Starnhelm Courser, Foundry Inspector, and Joyrus Familiar, all helping us cast reduced cost vehicles so we can cast more and draw more. These vehicles we're casting are going to be valuable too, from Imperial Recovery Unit that can help us regrow some of our resources each and every turn, to Mighty Servant of Luco to act as a scary beater and also draw us plenty of cards, to the terrifying Parhelion 2, known to end games on the spot if it's ever allowed to attack even once. And while we do have a couple of auras like Darksteel Mutation and All That Glitters, we're really steering clear of equipment and auras to keep us focused on building a fleet to cruise over our opposition. But don't count out our non-vehicle threats either. Finishers like Bronze Guardian can really put a damper on opponents' plans as we build up our boards. We also have an amazing pivot commander in Lochiel Clockwork Scholar. Lochiel also draws us cards each turn whenever one or more artifacts enter the battlefield, but only once per turn. Additionally, Lochiel prevents all combat damage dealt to attacking creatures we control, meaning our vehicles as well. If you want to pivot the deck to feature Lochiel, then you'll want to pack the deck with more artifact creatures that don't necessarily have to be vehicles, and you'll rely very heavily on Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter, or Shimmermere to ensure we're able to draw cards on everyone's turns. The other strength of this deck is that we have removal in spades, like Swords to Plowshare, Path to Exile, and Terminus, all able to deal with opponents' scary creatures without sending them to the graveyard, crucial against that Cleric's deck. But the Clerics have a few advantages over us. They don't generally need to spend mana to draw cards, and us attacking into chump blockers benefits them as their creatures die. And while we can be evenly matched in the sky, them using their targeted instant speed removal on just 1 to 2 of your flyers can leave you shields down really quick. Now for the upgrade. There's been some recent reprints revealed that serve both of these decks very, very well, and that is the Medallions. They're coming in Commander Masters. These are fantastic for monocolored decks, especially those that are looking to cast multiple spells each turn. And with their reprinting, at rare, they're about to become more available and more affordable than ever. Grab some copies while you can. And while you can, be sure to let me know what you think about these decks, linked in the description, by commenting on which of the two is your favorite. Go check out the full list by visiting my sponsor, Moxfield. Moxfield is the best deck building platform in the world, and makes it easier than ever to not only build, but playtest decks against each other. Check out their amazing features and be sure to follow my profile while you're there. And while you're here, check out these other sweet videos on the channel. If you've been inspired to build, you have to subscribe. And of course, as always folks, good luck and have fun.